What is up, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel. Today I bring you the 2021 Ranger Lariat. All right, so in 2011, they said bye-bye to the Ranger and brought it back to North America in 2019. Now, this was designed in Australia by our Australian friends. And the reason I wanted to bring this on the channel was because we had so much traction on the Colorado, Americans are gonna hate us, ZR2, kidding, ZR2. Now, this thing has an all black package, which is new for 2021. So it's got a black grille, it's got black Ford emblems, which are huge because on other Fords that have the blacked out package, they have blue emblems. This one has black, so thank you for that. Now take a look at this thing. What do you guys think about this and where does it stack up in the marketplace today? Well, there are two main reasons to buy a Ranger. The first one is garage size, because we live in a world that's all about the garage size. Now, a normal garage is about 20 feet long or 22 feet deep, we'll call it. This lengths out at 17.25 feet. Now, that gives you enough space to pull in, feel comfortable, and close the garage door behind you. Whereas an F-150 or a full size only allows you to have about half a foot because it's 19.5 feet long. Now think about that. It's either staying outside or you have to have a big garage. So for normal people that have normal sized garages, they don't really have a choice to leave their truck inside. And the second reason to buy one of these is towing. They've drastically improved them, so much so that they call these things mid-size now. They don't call them babies or compacts or little guy or whatever smallness name you want to attach to these. These are mid-size pickups nowadays, and you can see that because this tows 7,500 pounds. Now, the crazy part about that is it does it out of a 2.3 liter EcoBoost, marketing for you, but it's a 2.3 liter EcoBoost that makes 270 horsepower and 310 foot-pounds of torque out of a 4-cylinder. You see, all its competitors have 6s, and they don't all tow 7,500 pounds. Matter of fact, some of them tow as low as 5,000 pounds and has a 6 in it. So it's got a EcoBoost 2.3 liter that has a 10-speed transmission, but it can tow 7,500 pounds. And the payload, which is what you can put in the back bed, is almost the same as a base F-150 of like 1,860 pounds. That is a lot of weight that you can put in this Ranger. So in the front of the Ranger here, we do have LED headlights and the Ranger sort of embedded that I really like. I love the way this thing looks because it's gonna say Raptor one day. We're gonna get a Ranger Raptor, and that is really designed to go against all the off-roading vehicles because this one doesn't. As much as people say, and yes, you can get the Tremor off-road pack to put on this bad boy, but this is really designed to be on the street. And I'm only saying that because we had the Gladiator, which you'll see here, and we had the ZR2, or for us Canadians, the ZR2 right here. So we've jumped the Gladiator and we've taken the ZR2 off-roading. And the Ranger, well, this thing's a bit more luxurious for us to do that with. And because this is all black, all the tech is hidden really well. So it does have your front sensors in here. It does have all your radar underneath here. It's sort of hidden really well. Your camera's up there. All black kind of hides all this stuff. As opposed to some other colors, they sort of look pretty obvious. So I really like the way this front looks, but let's go under the hood and check it out. Let's take a look at this 2.3. This wasn't the case with some of our other competitors, guys. It did not open this well, and it didn't go all the way up. Look at this. I just click it over. Beauty. So this is the 2.3 liter that makes 280 horsepower and 310 foot-pounds of torque. And in order to get that kind of power out of anything else out there, as I mentioned, you have to get a V6, and this is a 4. So if we come to the side here, because this has the black appearance package, you do get 18-inch black wheels with the black logo, which is sick. And I really like how they've made this Lariat Ranger in all black. It's very clean. There's no black here. I mean, there's no chrome here. It's all black. There's no chrome here, but it does have the black side steps. And if you guys think I was kidding about the garage length, CarMax, which is America's largest used, and we're not sponsored by them, used sales place, basically runs commercials telling people they can take cars for 24 hours just to try it in their garage. It's obviously important. They've got the money. They spent the data. Now, if we talk about fender liners, because you know how much I love fender liners, the inside are half plastic in the front and half carpeted. In the back, they're completely plastic, but that gives you an indication that there is some luxury in here. Except, what's up with this green wire? All I need is some snips to snip this green wire. In the back here, I really like the fact that it actually shows you the frame. I love how American trucks, you can see the frame on the side. It just makes me feel more like manly. Is that a thing I should say or no?
If you want to.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, people are gonna make fun of me for that, so that's perfect. Ranger, Ranger. All right, so we're in the back of the Ranger now, and on the side they've got this 4x4 decal all in black, which is part of this black package. Now, they do have these oversized rear taillights, which I do like, and it does say clearly on here, if you didn't notice, it says blind spot radar. That's in the taillight, which is kind of cool. But there is one after the fact thing I noticed about this Ranger, and that is the Ford symbol. Instead of being flush on the panel, it's sort of recessed out. Now, that is probably because they needed a space to put the backup camera, and you can see it's clearly hidden underneath here as opposed to underneath the handle. Interesting. And we're ready for the soft close. So you can't get the Ranger in a 2-door. You can only get it in a 4-door in North America, but you can get 2 different bed sizes in terms of length. Now, as I mentioned, this should really be soft close, but whatever, we can lift past it. But the part that I can't lift past is this rear window. Now, Ford should have just stepped out of the box here, and I know the rest of the manufacturers don't do this, but you should have an automatic rear sliding window. This can't be manual. Give me automatic. Maybe you don't need it, but construction guys like me do. Now, on the bed here, this is a Ford accessory, but it does give you this tough bed liner, and I really do like this Ford logo they've got sort of wrapped in there. Really nice piece. If I were to add something, I'd add some lighting in here or even a camera so you can see from inside the cabin, because it doesn't have either. But it does have best in class payload, which is money. And again, 7,500 pounds you can tow. Crazy. Now, it does range anywhere from 1,560 to about 1,860 in terms of payload, depending on what model you get, Super Cab 4x2 or Super Cab 4x4, or this one, which is a Super Crew 4x4. This does only have 1,560, so just keep that in mind when you are out shopping for a Ranger, because they do vary based on the 4x4, 4x2, or the size of cab you have inside. All right, so we are in the back seat of the 2021 Ford Ranger Lariat. Now, as you guys saw, there is space underneath this seat, which is the passenger side rear seat. Now, as far as the front seat goes, there is a cutout they've made in the back of the front seats on both sides, because they probably know that one of the biggest complaints with the smaller pickup here is the back seat legroom. So they've cut these out to give you longer legroom. And in terms of headroom, it's sort of standard, but I've got in the fleet of vehicles I do have a Sierra extended cab, and this has more room. So if you ever go shop for extended cab, older generation stuff, you will know that this has more legroom than those vehicles, because those ones are tight. This is actually a decent 4-door. Something to keep in mind. As far as connectivity in the back here, you do have 2 USBs and a full 110 volt. Now this 110 volt is 150 watts, so you got to check your appliance to see what you can plug in here. But other than that, pretty good in the back here. I feel pretty comfortable. Just pull this thing down, and here we are in the back. Let's go to the front. All right, so I'm in the front seat of the 2021 Ranger now. And first things first, these seats are very comfortable. And Ford makes really good seats. And I can say that from the Bronco Sport, really good seats. F-150, really good seats. I know when I drive this thing, which is going to be very soon, the steering is going to be very soft and not overly direct. Guaranteed. As far as visually here, I'll let you guys decide. Seriously speaking, there are a lot of nice hard buttons here, like the 4-wheel low, 4-wheel high, 2-wheel drive. Very simple. It's just a rotary knob, easy to use. I would really like this armrest to be out a little bit further, but I get it. People love their coffee, so there's 2 coffee cup holders right here. But the steering wheel is probably the best part for me on the interior. and it's because it's small. There's a ton of buttons on here for me to use, and that's why I like to keep my hands on the steering wheel. I don't really like touching a lot of touchscreen stuff. If I have to, I will use it, but I really just like to keep my hands on the wheel and drive, because you know, that's what it's there for. Seriously speaking, if you do want to pick up and you drive a car with a lot of technology, this will give it to you. It does have blind spot indicator, cross traffic alert, even has trailer sway. Obviously this specific one does have adaptive cruise control. It's got driver alert, it's got lane keeping, it's got pre-collision. That's a lot of tech to give you. Obviously it does have a backup camera as well and front sensors, but that's a lot of tech to give you in something like this when the others don't really give it to you. And I am excited. This thing does have push button start. It has your smart key, so when you walk up to it, it obviously unlocks. You pull the handle, you get in, you press the button, and it starts. This obviously does have automatic windows on the driver's side and regular windows on the rest. It's fairly basic. There's not a ton in here to tell you this is luxurious, except for the seats feel really good. And the steering wheel feels really good. Now, if you guys think I'm a hard judge on this interior, you're in luck. Check out the Colorado. All right, so we're gonna take this Ranger for a drive. Let's go. All right, YouTube, I'm in the 2021 Ford Ranger. Yogi Bear on the loose. So with sort of softer, taller, skinnier trucks, I never feel totally overly comfortable going around corners fast because it just never usually ends well. And this is no different, but because this is new and technology's made its way in the pipeline of vehicles that I can feel fairly confident at a higher speed. And in terms of aesthetics inside, it's pretty bland. A lot of people do like the Ranger the way it looks inside, and that's probably because they're coming from maybe, you know, not as fancy Ford products. Compared to the F-150, obviously it's not as clean inside, but it is really good in terms of where it's being sold. And I think that's really important to know that generally we are spoilt. In North America, we are spoilt with the type of vehicles we get, the type of finishes we get, the type of availability we have, and obviously the type of price we pay for vehicles. But that's not the case in the rest of the world. The rest of the world actually gets a lot of plastic, and they don't get the nicest stuff. Now, obviously some parts are obviously you can get nice stuff, but in most of the world, or at least 50% of the world, vehicles are basic. And it's expensive to have vehicles, so I get it. So this is what you have to come up with. That's what I was thinking when I got in this. I'm realizing that this is sold pretty much everywhere in the world in a really basic trim, and it's just really made to move people. They can fit in places. It tows, like as I said, this tows 7,500 pounds, and out of a 4-cylinder, this is the best 4-cylinder you can buy. And Ford is smart because they launched it as the EcoBoost. They're marketing that EcoBoost play. So when you think about what engine you want, well, EcoBoost. In this specific one, in North America, we're the only ones that get this 10-speed, this motor, 2.3 liter, this kind of power. Everything else gets a lower power train. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing that it's sort of soft, like really soft, like really, really soft. So where would you use a tall, skinny vehicle that fits in your garage, that has some off-road capability, nothing like some of the other ones? And that's why they made this different, as I mentioned, with the Raptor coming out. Where would you use something like this? And I think you'd use it if you just want to sit higher, you want a truck, you don't want it to be super trucky on your back, you want it to be soft. This will give you that. It's easy to get in and out of, it'll give you that. You can throw crap in the back, it'll give you that. So there's no complaints about the motor. This motor is good. It picks up fast, it's peppy. There's no complaints there. It's very smooth. This is a very smooth truck. And against the Colorado, which was not smooth at all, let me know what you guys think about the interior, because that's something that obviously it's perspective and it's what people think, and it's not about my opinion, it's about your opinion. But I will say they're both fairly basic. I don't think there's anything more to say about that. This does have the leather wrap steering wheel. There is some pieces here that are trying to be luxurious a little bit, but it's still pretty basic. This is just a little bit less basic, if that makes any sense. They both are hard. This is just a bit softer and easier in the eyes. I do have this plaque here in Ranger. It's smooth and they've done a good job. They've done some leather wrapping. This is a Lariat. This does have great sound. So B&O, thank God, jumped on a different bandwagon than all the other brands they've sort of incorporated into Ford. Now in some of the new Fords you see. So B&O is money, sound system, 10 speakers, can't complain. This touchscreen is pretty standardized. It's like all the other Ford Sync product. Now, if I had to complain about something, I'd complain about the visual cohesiveness of the LCD screens we have here. So you have the 8-inch here, which, as I mentioned, which is part of the Ford Sync system that works relatively well. But the colors are totally different. This has a white backdrop, and both of these, now in the center there's a speedometer, and on the right there's a digital LCD screen, and on the left there is one as well, but they both have a backdrop of black. Now that's black, and this is white. This should be black too. They should match, but they don't. So yeah. One thing I would like to see on this truck is a sunroof, but not really complaining about that, is trailer brake control. It would be nice to have a trailer brake control on a Lariat, because it does have a trailer button. As I mentioned, this thing does tow a lot, so I know there's a button and it says me trailer, but I need to have trailer brake control so I can control my brakes on my trailer. You know, whatever trailer you're pulling, you need to have trailer brake control. One thing this thing will do better than all its rivals is fuel mileage for power. Because this is a 10-speed gearbox and a 4-cylinder compared to a V6 with either an 8-speed or a 7-speed or even a 10-speed, this is going to do better. So that is one thing to consider. People throw out all these numbers, miles per gallon, all this fun stuff, but that's not actually how people drive their cars, because everybody has different, lead feet like me. But just from a common sense perspective, you got 10 speeds and you have a 4-cylinder engine. Now, compare that to a 3.5 liter that's on most of its competitors on average, and cheaper on gas. So why is this not an off-roading truck? Well, the main reason is it doesn't have any locking diffs. There's no diff control here. I can't lock the front, I can't lock the back. Yes, it does have different modes. You can drive it in mud, sand, snow, all that fun stuff, but it doesn't have any locking diffs, and that's the end. And that's what people want. People want locking diffs. So where does this Ranger stack up in Ford's lineup? Because they're coming out with a ton of SUVs. The Bronco, they have the Bronco Sport. They've obviously got the Escape. They've got this thing. They've got the F-150. Now, obviously, they all do kind of different things. But how do we look at it? Because they're obviously made all over the world. They're sold all over the world. So we already know what this Ranger can do. But the Ranger in North America, now keep in mind, this is the 3rd year. This thing was launched in 2019. So this is a brand new, essentially, model. It was obviously they had the same one, but they stopped it for 8 years and they brought it back. But how do they sell this? And I think that they sell this as a gateway to the F-150. Because forget the people that are going to buy them for the garages, or the people that are going to buy them because it's easier to get in and out. Whatever the story is that for people that are selling Rangers, this is a really good taste of what an F-150 will be like. So if you don't want to buy the full-size truck, you buy the mid-size truck, which gives you some pieces of the F-150 and some pieces of Ford. So that's what I feel they do. What do you guys think? The gateway. Ford Ranger. The gateway to the F-150. So let me know in the comments below what you guys would like us to review next, because we are open. We are slowly building our channel, slowly, and there are people that'll give us cars, crazy enough. So if there's a car you'd like to see, hit us up in the comments below and let us know. See ya.